live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Thanks for joining us on 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. It is a Friday installment of the show, April the 12th, going in depth tonight on the rising cost to play Little League Baseball in and around Salt Lake City. Before we dive in, here's a look at what's making headlines. You can find all of these on our website, KUTV.com. Perhaps you've heard of this one, the evacuation notice issued for the Panguitch area after a crack was discovered on a nearby dam. This has been lifted today. Utah's Department of Public Safety announced the initial stabilization of the dam has been completed. They went to work pretty quickly on this, and crews will continue to work to decrease the water level that is behind that dam as we get further along with the snowpack starting to do its thing. Today, the IOC, International Olympic Committee, those leaders continued their tour assessing the state of Utah in an effort to bring back the Winter Games in 2034. This morning, they took to the slopes of Snow Basin in Weber County, where the downhill skiing events could take place, as they did back in '02. And after that, they visited the Olympic Oval in Kearns to tour Utah's speed skating venue, which is still extremely active here in the Salt Lake Valley. UTA ending its ski bus service to all 7 partner resorts tomorrow. It's part of UTA's change day adjustments. Happens every year. Preliminary passenger data through March shows a 4.3% increase from last ski season. More people hitting the bus. In addition to the conclusion of the ski bus service, other changes are scheduled to take place to happen Sunday, which includes the addition of the Sunday service on Route 472 Lagoon, because it's lagoon season in Farmington. As we go in depth tonight, you can always go in depth with us if you'd like to chime in on your thoughts with the show. Threw a lot at you there. Here's how you do it. Comment, YouTube Live, Facebook Live. You can weigh in on the socials, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, whatever is your fancy. You can find me there. So let's go in depth on the Little League conversation. More nonprofit Little League baseball leagues say they're struggling with how much it costs to rent field space in and around Salt Lake City. Amanda Gilbert on this for us today, and she spoke to teams. Amanda, what is causing the increase in the fee to use the fields?
Well, Brian, I know your little one's a little too young to be thinking about baseball leagues, minor league, but this is something that does seem to be impacting a lot of parents in the Salt Lake area. So last week I talked to Rose Park Baseball. Today I talked to Foothill and the Avenues baseball leagues. They say they're entirely volunteer run, they're nonprofits, they're for our kids, and this year they are just really struggling with how much it costs to rent baseball fields. They both say it's going to cost them about $20,000 this season to rent out the fields they need, and they're just struggling with that. So I did reach out to the city, and the city's chief financial officer said she was very busy. She could not do an interview today, but she did tell me over the phone that it is state law. They've actually recently learned that they cannot charge nonprofits a different price to rent these fields because of Utah state law, and that's a big reason for the spike in the cost. They said their hands are kind of tied. So the leagues just say they're really struggling. They need help. If you'd like more information, we are working on getting that on our news app. Back to you, Brian.
Now, Amanda, I know you were working to talk to some folks with the city as well. Did those conversations come to full fruition? Did you get those answers you were hoping for? Because it sounds like you, in a way, are kind of a liaison between the leagues and where the cities are at with what's happening on the field right now.
Yeah, that's right. You know, I did talk to the chief financial officer, and she did say, she was honest with me. She said, we are working on some key things with finalizing budgets, and she's super busy, so she couldn't talk today, but I want to keep following up with her and have that conversation with her when she is available, because it does sound like these leagues are looking for answers, and now the city is saying it's actually state law that's causing the issue. So maybe there's a way we can talk to both and follow up on this story.
Amanda Gilbert here on 2 News Live, continuing our coverage on that. Let's go to this. Have you been on social media lately? Have you seen the different shade of blue around Mark Pope? Ugh. A lot of mixed emotions here, depending on where you are. Adam Mikulich here on 2 News Live. First time, I think, on the program.
Yeah, I think this
is
is
great.
Yeah,
let's
thanks for
talk.
having me.
Let's talk Mark Pope and the legacy at BYU. Can we start there?
Yeah.
What did he do with that program?
Well, I think that's the best way to do is to start with what he did to the program. He led the Cougar men's basketball program to just 2 NC2A tournament appearances in 5 years. They didn't win either of those 2 games. But I tell you what stands out about Mark Pope is his energy and his passion for coaching. They were absolutely contagious. He was a pleasure to be around, from everybody to his players to the administration, and as a member of the media, I'm personally going to miss him. So getting to his alma mater was always his end game, so eventually you have to be happy for a guy that's probably just landed his dream job. Right up there on his list of achievements at BYU is helping the Cougars to a record of 23-11 in their first season of the Big 12. That's the one that just went into the book. That includes a mark of 10-8 in conference games, so impressive. And of course, there was that huge win on the road at Kansas back in February. Nobody wins in Kansas, he managed that. BYU Athletic Director Tom Holmoe now has a major hiring decision to make. Would-be junior Dallin Hall has already entered the transfer portal, so that's the next step in this process, Brian. Getting a coach to Provo as soon as possible to prevent more kids from entering the transfer portal. And just because they put their name in the hat doesn't mean they're going. But I'd say there's an 80% chance, 75, 80%, anytime a kid puts his name in the portal, he's probably gone.
Who wouldn't want to come to BYU and continue the legacy of winning games in Lawrence? Because that is not possible, like you mentioned. So is there a short list right now?
Yes.
Are there anything being tossed out as who this could be here in Provo?
Tom Holmoe has a really, really good Rolodex, for lack of a better way of putting it. He's very, very connected. He's also a really likable athletic director, so there's going to be a lot of people that want this job. The one that stands out right now, and don't forget my peers and I'm talking about all across the market, keep in touch on social media and stuff like that. Alex Jensen has to be a name that jumps out. He's a former University of Utah basketball player and coached for Quinn Snyder for a long time as a member of the Utah Jazz. And then the other one that sticks out is Chris Burgess, who is currently an assistant coach for Craig Smith's staff up at the University of Utah. So funny that 2 guys with Utah connections would probably be my 2 top candidates to take that job.
Would they go outside of those Utah connections if another name starts floating around?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think
So
you have to. I
you
think
go
you have
for
to
the
get the best guy for
possible.
that job.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, too. We're not dealing with a team that calls the WCC home anymore. They call the Big 12 home. So this is a really sexy job, for lack of a better way of putting it, for any good basketball coach out there. This is a top-tier job.
Any other concerns roster-wise of maybe leaving?
Lots of concern. That's the thing. I mean, a coach is the glue that holds it all together. 90% of the kids on that roster, actually 100%, let's just say it, were recruited by Mark Pope. They went to BYU to play for Mark Pope. Mark Pope is no longer there. So there's a big hole in the program right now. So again, getting somebody in there who can make an impression on these kids right away, that is the thing that Cougar fans are going to be panicking about right now.
Mark Pope is out, back to the place he won a national championship. The question mark is who is in. Adam Mikulich is in here on 2 News Live. This was fun.
Thanks for
hanging out.
Yeah,
of course, we want to hear what you're thinking at home, because this is a different sort of question. A lot of people invested in Cougars basketball, both on the men's side and the women's side, to be honest with you. Look at some of those names here. It's interesting because Jensen's not on this list, but Burgess is, 36%. Yeah, you'd like to see Chris Burgess maybe take that role. A couple other names floated around there, but you know what? Names are going to be floated. That is how this works, not just in the college football scene, but of course basketball as well. A lot of great coaches out there. A lot of people you can pluck from different locations. We'll see how it shakes out. You can weigh in here on the poll by scanning the QR code on your screen. Let's get to some sexy video. Fire is sexy, regardless of what you think. This is video from the Utah Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands. It's something that makes you look at the screen. This was from today. And you know what? If you were in Weber, Davis, even parts of Salt Lake County, Box Elder County, you likely saw this large, thick plume of black smoke near the Great Salt Lake. And that's because crews were doing some prescribed firework out by the Great Salt Lake. This is the Pintail RX project, which is about 2,000 acres. They're working on Fragmites, which just burn, baby, burn, but they don't go away. So even using some fire here is really difficult. They hit this with herbicide last year via helicopter. The next step is to burn it, and it's an invasive species. So they went after it today. Some really cool video there. But temperatures, wind speed, the whole deal really played in their favor today, Sean Kelly. They did not get to do this project last week, and look what happened today.
I mean, this is incredible.
Ideal.
81 degrees. Yeah, it's record-tying temperature. I mean, we deserve it. We deserve it here across the area. We are going to be seeing some big changes, though. So let's get to what's going on in your area and some of the changes that we could look forward to if the cooler weather is your kind of thing. We do have some clouds streaming in. Hey, we can't rule out maybe a spot shower that's going to be in the forecast here for the area. We're already starting to see some increasing clouds, and you can see some of those lower clouds developing out there. 78 degrees, but yes, it is breezy, and it's pretty breezy across much of the state. We've seen some wind gusts near 30 to 35 miles per hour, but boy, is it warm out there. 5 to 10 degrees warmer from yesterday at this time. We're at 74 in Provo, 72 in Price, 69 in Cedar City, sitting at 85 down in the St. George area. And here's a few of those patchy areas of some light rain and some drizzle trying to work its way into the area. It's not going to last long as we get towards sunset this evening. That should taper off, and really nothing like what's going on in the Northeast. This is still a storm impacting much of the country here, bringing some severe weather for them. Here at home, as I mentioned, we start to clear things out once again, and a whole lot of sunshine for your weekend. Sunshine, warm weather, and breezy conditions as we head into Monday, though. Here's our next storm moving in, starting off with some widespread showers, valley showers, mountain snow. Once again, central mountains probably doing the best here with upwards of 3 to 6 inches there. Then we dry out, and right now that storm number 2 that we were tracking looks to be non-existent here, as it just keeps us on the cooler side with maybe a few sprinkles here or there. So overall, overnight, just a little bit cool, into the 50s for lows. That's not bad. Highs tomorrow, 70s. Going to be a really nice day to be out and about, enjoying some sunshine. Just be mindful of the winds there. And then the St. George area will go from the 80s and 70s to the 60s, and then we warm back up. And then along the Wasatch Front, we go from the 70s to the 60s. We go a little bit cooler, though, next week. We're back down into the 50s, back to reality.
My man's looking for a patio to call home for dinner
I
tonight.
know. I need to
Salt
get
Lake
out there.
City. I'm hoping they're opening them up for you, too. Don't look too hard. Someone's got to have the chairs ready.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even need the heat lamps tonight.
Not tonight.
Pretty
No,
good.
Not bad.
But,
I mean,
you know, the change is inevitable at this point, this time of year, right? Mountains will still continue to get some snow.
Right.
And those temperatures will just do this
and
Utah
that's spring.
thing.
That is spring for you. We're going to continue to see that kind of up and down through all of April.
Plenty of time for you to golf.
That's right.
Remember to download our 2 News weather app to know about changes in your neighborhood. You can get updated forecasts, that live radar. Very easy to use this app. It's easy to download this app. It is also free. So get it today. Join the party. Thanks for joining us here on 2 News Live on a Friday. Great to go in depth with you on a couple different topics here. A lot of people talking about that change at the coaching helm for BYU with Mark Pope going back to Kentucky. So weigh in on that poll. What you got going on this weekend?
I was just going to ask you that. I think I'm going to take my my pup out to the park and enjoy the sunshine, let him run around and hang out.
Henry likes doing that. He was on Arc Salt Lake with us last night. A total blast to have. You got to bring him in here once a week. Henry doesn't shed. He is the perfect newsroom dog because he just likes pets.
Yeah.
He's here
He's
for
just
it.
happy to be wherever you are.
Yeah.
Wherever anyone is. He's
A
happy to
man's
be there.
best friend.
That's right.
A meteorologist's best friend.
Yeah.
A big dog. Needs to go run around and explore. For me, going to be dad mode this weekend.
Yeah.
Going outside, totally enjoying the great weather that we have before
Yeah.
the change once again. So get out and enjoy it. Send us your pictures. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us on 2 News Live. Be safe. See you on Monday.